The biggest challenge for students in the level 1 age group is basically how young they are. They've got a short attention span. They also might not understand anything the teacher is saying or even that they're in a class. In order to get around this, we decided to make level 1 interactive. That way it can attract the students' attention. We also decided to make each slide very short so that the teacher and student are able to get through the content at a faster clip. We also added in lots of games, sounds, songs, and other things that we would hope that the student would find more and more interesting. And we thought this would be a good way to attract the attention of these 4 to 5-year-old students in level 1. The main difference between level 1 and level 2 is that level 1 is age-locked for younger students. Level 2, even though level 1 and level 2 are both for 0-level students or very low-level students, level 2 will oftentimes get older students. So we had to make level 2 have a wider age range that we're targeting. Level 1 can be focused on students in the age range of 4 to 5, which means their cognitive abilities and the activities that we do can be very focused on students or children of that level. And also, we made it shorter so that the student would be able to get through level 1 and then get onto level 2 in around less than a year. So that was another concern that we had when differentiating level 1 and level 2. Level 1 also has some different content that we teach, like it has a lot more phonemic awareness, so basically listening practice. We also cut out the projects because we think that the projects would be too difficult for students of this level. And it also focuses on basic like classroom commands more and basically how to use the computer or use the iPad, because we think that students of this level oftentimes have problems with operating the equipment. There are more slides in level 1, which means the pacing for level 1 must be faster. Some of the new slides we've added in include the beginning parents tip slide. The teacher just has to show this and it doesn't have to be taught at all. There's also teacher demonstration slides where the student maybe says only a word or a small phrase, or the teacher says a word or a small phrase, and so these can be gone through quite quickly. There's also extra slides towards the end for students that are of a higher level and need more extension content. We don't think that the students will feel this PPT is too long, but the teacher needs to control the pacing so that we can get through all of the content. The normal lesson will, like lessons 1 through 3 and lessons 5 through 7, all have the same structure. So you know when you're in the computer skills section, you only have one more section left. Or if you're in the soft skills section, you've finished all the content slides and only the wrap-up slide is left. And this is for review and not teaching. So once you have a good idea, a good understanding of the structure of these lessons, you'll be able to know how to control the pacing. You'll be able to know which section you're in, which section you need to get to, and around how much time you need to do, you need to complete the lesson. So successful level 1 teaching. In my opinion, level 1 is the hardest level that we have at VIP Kid. Not because the content is so hard, but because the students are so young. And I think there's some traits that all the great level 1 teachers have. One is they have the ability to make the class interesting. They can interact with the student in such a way that the student finds the content that they're learning to be interesting, and they're willing to go along with the teacher for the entire class. 2, these teachers are patient. They know that level 1, this level, the students are so young and they can't really be rushed. 3, if they use props or prepare the lesson well, generally they will have a better lesson. And 4, they have to be enthusiastic and high energy. It definitely helps to be high energy for level 1 classes. As for like a teaching ability, the teachers also need to be flexible. You have to base what you're teaching on what the student is outputting. And so if a certain activity is going very well, the teacher can then adjust what they're teaching to fit with what the student is doing. It also takes a bit of technical knowledge of the VIP platform. So if a student is playing with a mouse, A teacher should be aware enough of what the platform can do to turn off the mouse, and so that the student is no longer distracted. There's definitely a bit of personalization that must go on. For level 1, you need to know the kid, know the student, and be able to adjust yourself accordingly. The main goal of level 1 is to provide an introduction to English language learning to younger students. We want them to be able to go through level 1 fairly rapidly and then get into level 2. And so to do this, it needs to be, we want it to be fun, engaging, while still touching on some basic skills that a level 1 student can then apply in level 2 when they start getting into more academic levels. A big problem that we've noticed in level 1 is that students cannot understand what the teacher is saying, or they don't even realize that they're in a class. So a lot of that problem is from too much incidental language from teachers. It's important to use more demonstration, to keep your language very simple, to use things like TPR to make sure students understand what's being done, to demonstrate first what you want the student to do, and then ask them to do it later. So the main struggle is the lack of ability of the 4- and 6-year-olds to understand what's going on. And so what the teacher needs to do is find a way, whether it be by props or drawing or demonstration, to make that clear. Level 1 was structured in an 8-lesson per unit, so a four-lesson learning cycle, because we wanted the student to be able to get through it quickly. We want level 1 to be more of a prep class for level 2. And so we didn't want it to take that long for the student to get through the entire level. And the concept of traveling around the world was a concept we took from other products for kids of that age group. We also wanted to make it so that Chinese students would have a chance to experience different cultures, and that was the main reason we chose the world travel theme. The vocabulary is based on different topics or different things associated with the different countries they go to. We also wanted to make sure that there wasn't too much overlap with level 2, because once they're finished with level 1, they will then go to level 2. And of course, if we taught the same thing twice, they would find that quite boring. And mostly it's meant to encourage a bit of curiosity and a knowledge of different countries, have the students experience sort of a multicultural curriculum. And of course, we also added in some simple ESL topics like colors or cultural items like drums and flutes. We expect level 1 students to have very, very basic output. They should be able to understand and respond to simple classroom commands. They should be able to answer simple questions with either one word or a short phrase or maybe a simple sentence. They should be able to recognize the 26 letters, both uppercase and lowercase, either by circling them or making some sort of mark on their iPad or computer. And they also should be able to recognize words based on their initial consonant sound as a way to build the phonological awareness of the sounds associated with the 26 letters. I think as a final thought for level 1, it's important to have fun and be enthusiastic. I mean, these students are so young, they will definitely be able to pick up on the teacher's attitude towards the class. And as long as you are providing something that is entertaining and able to draw the student in, I think a level 1 class can't go wrong. They will be going through some basic cognitive changes at this time as well. And so, yes, they may not be able to speak, but they may not be able to speak in Chinese very well. The fact that they're listening and getting exposure to the language, in my opinion, is the most important thing. And don't get discouraged or think that level 1 students aren't learning anything. Once they go through the entire level, there is a very obvious improvement in their language abilities. And we need to thank you for helping us achieve that mission.